Ah, so it does change the background. Interesting. And the fact that it took me this long to notice that though is just sad, so whatever. Hello! I'm in a good mood today. Just because of all the time I spent last night grinding out Great Chronicles X. Whatever. Ah, it's Ace Attorney time now. We are again, the scene of the crime. Now to thrust these representation papers in Gregson's face and see what he makes of them. Hello again, Inspector. Do you have a minute, please?
What is it now? You should go home and get some rest.
Here you are, Gracie. Here are the representation papers.
Your ladyship? Ow! I don't believe it. How the devil did you get that stubborn little ragabash to sign that? I salute you. That is good work, that is.
I can see you've been very busy here as well. How about some tea? It's a special blend designed to relieve fatigue.
Lovely. Well, let's see now. Yes. I hardly feel tired at all. I'm fit as a fiddle, your ladyship.
Would it be alright if we investigated the scene of the crime then?
Do as you please. You know where it happened. Through the door behind the counter.
Yes, the storeroom. That's where I discovered Mr. Windybank and Gina.
Right, well, I'll be getting back to business then.
Will you be investigating in the storeroom as well, Inspector?
If I'm perfectly honest, we need to wrap this up before long. Can't afford to spend too much time on it. And there are so many articles to go through, it's taken forever, even with the lads working round the clock. Which is a problem, because there's another case the Yard needs to investigate urgently.
That must be what Lord Strongarm meant by far more serious matters before.
So what I'm saying is, don't get under my feet, sunshine.
Come then, let's not waste any time.
Did I... Yes, I looked at the picture, okay. Ah, look here.
Oh yes, a bullet hole. And I can see the bullet that's still lodged in the wall.
Presumably Mr. Windybank wasn't practicing with his revolver in his spare time.
Well... Mr. Sholmes likes to practice in his drawing room whenever he can. He's very patriotic like that.
Sorry?
It's all there in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, you know. Isn't that right, Iris? Did I write something like that? Partly in jest, perhaps. In jest? Well, he doesn't do it often. It is quite a dangerous pastime.
Doesn't do it often. He shouldn't even do it once.
Forget that for now, Runo. Let's examine this bullet.
What's that around the bullet hole? Is it blood? Suspicious red stain on the calendar.
I may be able to help with that.
What?
There's nothing like the sight of blood to get the blood pumping, is there, Runo?
I have a feeling I'm not as bloody minded as you, Iris.
I'm afraid the sight of blood makes my blood run cold. There you have it. You see, when it comes to blood, we're all different types.
Yes, what a scientific observation.
So you need this.
Oh no, what is that scary looking thing?
Ali and I haven't actually come up with a name for it yet. But as soon as you see it in action, you'll understand what it does. Watch.
Oh, the bloodstain has changed.
There, does it make sense now?
Yes, I think I'm starting to understand.
Good. It works on the principle that different people have different types of blood, you see. Yes, how wonderful. The chemical it fires combines with the blood and makes its colour change. So you can identify whose blood it is you're looking at in a flash. Oh, what a fabulous invention, Iris. Isn't it? Isn't it? I bet Ginny would say it's bleeding great.
So, whose blood are we looking at then?
Well, all the chemical does is turn the blood a different colour, so... just find someone whose blood turns the same colour and you'll know who it belongs to, in a flash.
It's more like two flashes really, isn't it?
One flash or two, and this could well turn out to be a very valuable clue. So we must make a note of it in the court record. Let's keep testing and adding the results of any other blood analysis to the portfolio. As long as I have reagent left, sure. It's still,
Green blood. Just seems wrong somehow.
Oh, there are all sorts of different colours. There are pretty pinks and purples too, you know. Like I said, everyone's blood is different.
Wonder what colour my blood would turn out. Actually, I don't want to know. I'm fairly sure this contraption was here yesterday as well. Here we are, though I'm not confident I can get it closed again.
Oh yes, that's a folding stereoscope.
Really? This is a stereoscope? Mr. Sholem showed us a picture yesterday that you were supposed to be able to see in 3 dimensions. But for that he used the great big contraption over there.
Oh well, that's for use in public houses and places like that. It contains a carousel with all sorts of pictures inside. But this little thing is a much simpler design for use at home. There are special soft-setting prints you can use in them. I have a little collection myself.
I wonder if I could make money out of these in Japan. It would be keeping my toilet sparkling clean anyway. This officer has been staring intently at the wall since before we came in here. Keep it down. Oh, sorry. There's a major clue just here.
Really? Then we must tell Gregsy at once.
And as soon as I report it, that'll be it. I'll be stuck here even longer. Stuck here? What do you mean? I haven't been home in 2 days already. I need another constable to relieve me and take over my shift. They really have a tough time, the British police.
That doesn't stop us investigating though, does it?
No, I suppose not. Fairly sure it was the calendar he was peering at. This is that strange contraption that lets you see pictures of things as if they're right in front of your eyes. Makes you think, when Mr. Sholmes gleefully showed it to us yesterday. We were blissfully unaware that any of this was about to happen.
These shelves are where the pawnbroker puts articles that have been forfeited on display for customers to buy.
Yes, it's a really strange miscalculation, isn't it? I mean, who would buy this horse statue, for example?
Well, sometimes you can find some real treasures among all the junk, you know. Are you alright, Bruno?
Oh, it's just, well, looks like a collection of useless junk as a whole, but when you pick out individual things, you can't help wishing you owned them. Even that horse statue.
That's exactly how the pawnbroker works. They're very clever.
Police are scouring every inch of this place by the looks of it.
Instructions from the yard are to examine every article in the shop and every ledger book of accounts.
Every article? But that's a ridiculous amount of work, surely.
We've been hard at it ever since the shop was declared a crime scene in the early hours. Sifting through it all in shifts at least, but still. We'll be working through the night, that's for sure. And even then we'll barely have scratched the surface.
Crime in a pawnbroker's. Must be every policeman's worst nightmare.
It's every copper's worst nightmare, you know. A crime in a pawnbroker's.
That's a music box. Do you have them where you come from, Bruno?
Yes, but I've never seen one as large as this in Japan.
Oh well, this will be a treat. Shall we have a listen? What do you think? Isn't it a pretty sound?
It's a beautiful sound, yes, but it's a little hard to enjoy with all the policemen in the room are giving you fierce looks.
Never mind that. If any of them say anything, I'll tell Grexy to have a word.
Iris Wilson, Superintendent of Scotland Yard. Oh, that was ticked. There's the article ledger here, Mr. Winterback's notes, and... What's this? It looks as though someone has left a little photographic print behind.
Oh, look on the back. There's some writing. Is there? Oh, show us, Susie, show us. "15th of February, 10:30 p.m. Article deposited, one gentleman's overcoat. Loan amount paid, £1. Redemption deadline, 15th of April, 10:30 p.m.
Gentleman's overcoat, called for £1. Then it was a very fine coat. In fact, I think...
Yes, this must be the ticket for the overcoat that Ginny redeemed yesterday.
And is still wearing, which belonged to McGilded. I'd never have expected the redemption ticket to be handwritten on the back of a photograph, though.
Seems Mr. Windyback just used whatever piece of paper he happened to have at hand.
And this photograph of a cat. It's very familiar, doesn't it? I'm sure I've seen this exact same picture somewhere else recently.
Oh, yes, you're right. Very recently. It's the same as the one Ginny gave us earlier.
Of course. I was forgetting that she gave us that print.
Well, what are you waiting for then, Mr. Naruhodo? Get it out.
Alright. Let the cogs turn.
Yes, they are exactly the same. I've got it. These two photographs hide an amazing secret.
A secret? What does she mean?
You must tell us, Iris, at once. Do you really want to know?
Yes, we need you to tell us all you know about this pair of photographs. That ledger that's open on the counter there really is enormous, isn't it? Must be an awful lot of work to keep track of all these hundreds of items in pawn.
It's too much to think about. Better to sell it all and have a clear head if you ask me.
Clearly Mr. Winterbank was very careful when it came to the articles in his care. So, Iris, about these two photographic prints. The one we found here on Mr. Winterbank's counter and the one Gina gave us before. What is this amazing secret you mentioned that's hidden between these two identical prints?
Actually, that's not quite right.
Sorry?
If you look carefully, the two prints aren't the same. Not exactly.
They're not?
Have another look at them now. Can you see that they're just slightly different from each other?
I think so. It's very subtle, though.
But what's the reason for the subtle difference between the two prints? Well, it's because they're a set, you see.
No, I don't.
This pair of photographs is meant to be used in a stereoscope. Everyone in London is raving about them at the moment.
Ah, stereoscope. Why do I feel as though I've heard that word before recently?
Oh, yes, that's what Mr. Shang showed us yesterday. You see, there it is, just over there.
Ah yes, of course. That magical machine that makes the pictures look almost real enough to touch.
Well, actually, it's quite possible to see the same depth in pictures, even without one of those contraptions.
What? Really?
Do you know how a pair of photographic prints can appear to have any depth in the first place? No, I have no idea. Oh, wonderful. Then I'll be able to tell you.
She's over the moon, bless her. Should we let her explain, though? We really need to carry on investigating the scene.
I, for one, simply have to know. Have you ever considered, Bruno, how our eyes see depth in the world around us?
Well, we just open them and it works.
But the reason it works is because we have two eyes.
Two eyes? Shocking.
If you try closing just one eye at a time, I think you'll see straight away. When you see with your left eye, and what you see with your right eye, are ever so slightly different. You get a different view with each eye. Yes, the position of objects seems to shift slightly. Exactly, and in your head your brain uses that shift to estimate depth as it merges the two views into one. That's how we can sense depth in everything we see.
The brain really is amazing, isn't it? There's so much without telling me.
I think I see. So the pair of photographs consists of a left eye view and a right eye view. Isn't that right? Oh, well done, Susie. You're so quick.
So if you can persuade your brain to merge the two pictures together in your head, you'll be able to see depth in these prints.
Yes, Reno. You're beginning to understand.
The stereoscope's function is to act as your brain and allow you to do just that.
Yes, but as long as you have two images, two eyes and one brain, you can actually do it yourself without needing a stereoscope at all.
You can? Really?
Let's try it. Let's see if you can view this pair of prints without the help of a stereoscope. Oh yes, I'm dying to have a go.
Mrs. Anderson really loves this kind of thing.
You need to be able to cross your eyes. That's the main thing. Can you both do that?
Cross my eyes. I think I can.
Watch me. Watch me and see if you can copy. Make your eyes do this. Alright, let me try. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? There, how's that? Wonderful. Now it's your turn, Reno. The trick is to concentrate on looking at the bridge of your nose with both eyes at the same time.
Not exactly an easy task when two people are staring at you cross-eyed.
Alright, that's enough practice. Now let's try looking at the prints. Start by staring at one print and slowly cross your eyes. You should see two overlapping images like this. You try it now, Bruno.
Just going to have to give it a try, I suppose.
Did the print split into two images for you? Now the next step is to put the pair of prints side by side like this, and then try crossing your eyes. The prints should slowly merge together until they form a new single image in the center. Oh yes! Mr. Naruto, it works! I can see it in the middle now. It looks so real. Oh, I could look at it all day.
I wouldn't advise that. Your eyes might start to hurt.
Your turn, Reno.
Ah,
Then you're looking through the two pictures and slowly cross your eyes.
oh, wow. Ugh. Does work though.
Keep adjusting the position of your eyes until the two images overlap exactly in the middle.
Like, this is it.
There, you managed it. So now we know how stereoscopic images work. Well, I don't know who discovered it, but it really is quite extraordinary. So what do you think of these stereoscopic prints then, Runo?
Certainly amazing, but it isn't easy to get the knack of viewing them properly.
No, some people find it easier than others. And that's why contraptions like this exist, for people who find it tricky. Oh, I recognize that. We saw one over there yesterday, didn't we? If I remember correctly, you press the little knob there. Here and... then you set the pair of photographs in the stand at the back and...
Still amazing, even though I know roughly how it works now.
well, London seems to agree with you. Stereoscopes are very popular at the moment. You can find one of those folding contraptions in lots of houses in the capital currently.
If these little machines are so affordable, surely there's no need to go around staring cross-eyed at pictures like you ain't them.
But it's much more satisfying to be able to see the effect with your own eyes. Well, I think so in any case.
Stereoscopic pictures. Never even heard of them until yesterday. Certainly learned a lot about them. I wonder if it's knowledge that I'll ever actually need. This is the ticket that Gina brought in here yesterday.
Yes, having been entrusted to her by Mr. McGill did 2 months earlier. Article deposited, one gentleman's overcoat.
The other redemption ticket was in the pocket of that coat.
Yes, for a small box deposited 2 days before the omnibus incident.
Could that have anything to do with all this?
Mr. Naruto, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something rather troubling here.
I have noticed.
The red smear, you mean?
Yes. Looks like blood, doesn't it? I wonder if Susanoo-san had picked up on that. Well, in that case,
Yes, we need Iris.
we should show this to her before we forget.
Oh, that looks like blood.
I would say it's from a gloved finger. Most certainly a glove made of leather.
Well, don't worry, Bruno. You can leave the rest to me.
Look at that.
Yes, that's a colour we haven't seen before, isn't it? We simply must add it into the portfolio of blood samples. It could be an important clue. Although, it would be nice to find out whose blood these different colours corresponded to at some point.
Oh, this particular stain of blood.
Oh, you had an idea, haven't you? Do you know whose blood this is?
I think I do. Yes, I have an idea whose blood it is. Not from the colour it turned, but with a little deduction.
That's right. I think it's clear. Iris, you know as well. You first, Bruno. Who do you think it belongs to?
Right, I believe that this is the blood of... Thrice-fired Mason.
You don't sound very sure of yourself the way you trailed off there.
Well, it was 2 months ago now, that case. And of course I'd never met the victim, so I'm struggling to remember his name. He was definitely thrice-fired, though.
The victim of the omnibus case. Yes, his name was indeed Mr. Thrice-fired Mason. But that would mean that this bloodstain was left on the ticket 2 months ago.
Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket here to Windybanks yesterday. I'm suggesting that the bloodstain was already on it at that time.
So it's a smear of blood from the time that Mr. Mason was killed 2 months ago. Something else is coming back to me now. Mr. McGilded was also wearing leather gloves that night.
Now, I ask yous, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fellow bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about my gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand.
Certainly does look like a leather gloved thumbprint, this mark. But we know that Mr. McGilded had no injuries at the time, anywhere on his body. From which we can conclude that any blood on the glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason.
Mr. Naruhodo, you sound just like Mr. Sholmes.
Minus the quirky slip-ups, I hope.
Yes, I think you're right, Reno. Very well, let's make a note of this.
I really do have a portfolio for it.
Behind that door. It's the storeroom, isn't it? That's what Gregsy said.
Yes, and that's where I saw that dreadful scene last night. Through the little window in the door. Mr. Windybank, face down on the floor with Gina beside him.
As the accused legal representative, you have the right to examine the scene, Mr. Naruhodo. We must make a thorough investigation.
Yes, of course. And we will. Behind that door, that's the real scene of the crime.
Don't worry. If there are clues in there, I'll find them.
Poor Iris. She's clammed up completely.
Iris is bound to find this difficult. After all, Mr. Windybank's life was taken in this very room only last night.
Ah.
Wait, Inspector.
What is it now, Sunshine?
You took one look at me and tried to run away.
Think a Scotland Yard inspector would run away from some jumped-up little defence lawyer, do you? I just, well... I've never seen her ladyship looking like that before, is one thing. I don't know what to say to her.
So you weren't running away from me, you were running away from a 10-year-old.
I'm afraid this is all a little too much for young Iris. Some gentle reassurance might go a long way, perhaps, Inspector.
Huh? Um... Don't trouble yourself unduly, your ladyship. I mean, at least you're not dead, are you?
I don't think that went very well.
Why? Look, I'm in the middle of an investigation here, Sunshine, and I told you not to get under my feet.
And we have investigating to do ourselves.
Yes. I'd like to hear more of what the socially inept inspector has to say.
Oh, Hurley.
And inquire into how Mr. Sholmes' operation is going. So, Inspector, what do you make of the crime scene here?
Well, sure, you got eyes, haven't you? Use them. What it looks like. Nothing more, nothing less.
Iris, could you lend me a hand?
So, Gregsy, what do you make of the crime scene here?
Oh, yes, your ladyship. Do allow me to humbly explain. Last night, at shortly after the hour of 1 o'clock in the morning, Scotland Yard police attended the scene. The one and only door to this storeroom was found locked from the inside.
So it was locked from the inside.
The lock appears to be broken now, though. Was that the police officers doing?
Quite right, ma'am, quite right. We took the liberty of smashing the door in, as humbly as possible.
Oh,
As you can see, the victim was discovered prostrate on the floor, thuswise. And next to the aforementioned body we discovered the vile gutter child.
are you talking about Ginny? She's my friend, you know, Inspector.
Miss Lestrade, the helpless girl, was curled up on the floor, dead to the world.
She's still alive, you know. Yes, when I saw her, she appeared to be unconscious.
I'm afraid to say she had the gun that was used in her hand.
No.
Presumably it's the gun that's still down there on the floor now.
In her pocket we found the key to the door as well.
What? The key to this storeroom?
And you say the storeroom had been locked from the inside, Inspector?
Correct. All of which leaves her ladyship's friend. In something of a sticky situation, I'm afraid. Obviously, my personal opinion is that it's some sort of misunderstanding.
Of course it is, Inspector. Of course it is.
Gregsy, do you know anything about Hurley? Is the operation finished? Is Hurley alright? Is he...
Well, the thing is,
Don't mince your words, Inspector. Please. You don't mean to say that Mr. Sholmes is...
No. The operation's done and dusted. It's just that, well...
Out with it.
Yes, ma'am. I use something called a general anesthetic. It's the latest thing. Renders the whole body insensitive.
The whole body anesthetized? Is that even possible?
It means the operation can be completed while the patient is fast asleep.
Goodness. In the Empire of Japan, we can just manage to provide laughing gas for a tooth extraction.
The trouble is, the latest thing isn't always the greatest thing if you follow my meaning. They couldn't get the medication to work at first, so it took hours for him to nod off, or so I hear. And now the op's finished, they can't get him to wake up apparently.
Oh my.
No one knows if it's the anaesthetic still in the system or if the bloke's just plain exhausted. And anyway, all they can do is stand back and watch until he comes round again.
Hurley.
The moment he opens his eyes, your ladyship, I swear I shall get word to you.
I'm surprised. Even in matters of life and death, Mr. Sholmes has to do things his way. Look at all these articles that have been deposited. room is stuffed full of them.
Can't believe how many there are. Bicycle, a gramophone, musical instruments, even some enormous paintings. Look.
Pieces of different people's lives, quietly gathering dust in here together. Something very peaceful about the atmosphere in here. At least there would be if not for the chalk outline on the floor and the policemen shuffling around.
Not much I can do about that, sunshine.
Of all the articles in this storeroom, it is the only thing that shows any sign of being ransacked. What is it, Iris?
That's the box file that my manuscript is being kept in.
Oh! Iris's unpublished story, The Hound of the Baskervilles. Surely that's not what all this...
Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. We must check inside the box at once. Yes. It was there. Iris's story was there.
Really? It was? Well, that's good news, isn't it, Iris?
Yes. I mean, of course I believed Hurley when he said he deposited it here, but still. It's a relief to actually see it.
Really? Because that's not very well hidden... a very well hidden frown. Now with the Baskervilles. How did this other sound know the exact title of this unpublished story? I suppose I'll just have to wait until she's ready to explain it to me.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. This is a revolver. A real one.
And quite possibly the murder weapon used to take Mr. Windybank's life. What's the matter, Susie? You and Runa look like you're about to faint. Well, it's just that I've rarely seen a gun in the flesh.
And I've had issues with guns in the past. But anyway, we saw Mr. Windybank with this yesterday, didn't we?
I shall have to take my own life.
Must be the same gun. And last night, when I looked through the spy hole in the door to the storeroom here, it was the same gun I saw in Gina's hand.
Mr. Windybank told us that he only ever had a single bullet loaded in his revolver, didn't he? Well, it's empty now. The one and only bullet he had in his gun has been fired.
So we can be fairly certain that only a single shot was fired from this revolver. I suddenly just put together a lot of what's going to happen later on in this case. Okay. Anyway, the police marked the position of the body with a chalk outline.
Oh, Mr. Windybank. He was a nice old man.
Well, he was shot just once, through the heart. Most likely the fellow died instantly. You wouldn't have felt a thing.
This must be his blood then.
I don't like to ask at such a wretched time, Iris, but I wonder if perhaps... Don't worry, Susie. I'm ready for action. So, now we know the colour the chemical turns when it reacts with Mr. Windybank's blood. And it doesn't match our analysis of the blood stain you found in the main shop. No, but let's add this sample to the others we've already collected anyway.
Iris.
Don't worry, I'm alright. But we must find the true culprit. Yes, absolutely.
Inspector, what do you make of this?
What are we here then? A redemption ticket for an article deposited here, is it? Looks like someone ran out of office stationery and wrote the ticket on whatever paper was to hand. Yes, this is the ticket from Mr. McGilded's overcoat. The one that little diver turned up with yesterday.
Oh, actually no, it's not.
Really? Think you know better than me, do you?
No, I didn't mean to,
Bruno's right, Grexy. It isn't the same ticket.
Of course it isn't, of course it isn't. I never doubted you, your ladyship. So, what's all this about then, if I might be so bold as to ask?
This is a second ticket.
Second one?
Seems that Mr. McGilded in fact had another article in storage here at Windybanks.
Is that right?
I think we need to discuss this further with the inspector, Mr. Naruhodo.
Well, good, because he's ever so easy to talk to. This ticket was in one of the pockets of Mr. McGilded's overcoat.
Huh? You mean to tell me?
Yes, it was more than just the music box disc, it seems.
Should have insisted on the lads taking it back to the yard and examining it properly.
Well, according to the details on this ticket, Mr. McGilded deposited another article here with Mr. Windybank.
Yes, I can see it's written here. Small box, was it?
Do you have any idea where it is, Gravesy? Any idea at all? It's another article belonging to Mr. McGilded. It could be an important clue.
Oh, yes, I suppose it could be. Please, stop looking at me with those big turquoise eyes, all full of hope and expectation. It's too much pressure. I'll lose my marbles. I'll go barking.
This is no time for dog impersonations, Inspector.
That's enough sauce from you, Sunshine. There is one thing that springs to mind. According to this ticket, the redemption deadline's already passed, hasn't it?
Oh yes, of course. Articles are only held for 2 months. So, the small box will no longer be in here then?
And that's right, it's been forfeited.
which means it could be on the shelves in the front of the shop where the forfeited items are offered for sale.
Yes, the shelves in the front. We must search them at once.
Oh, you're wasting your time.
Oh,
There are dozens of little boxes out there, hundreds even. You can't possibly know which one might have been the Gilded's. That information's not written in the ledger.
well, I think we should at least have a look, just in case.
Of course, your ladyship, of course. Very sensible of you, I'm sure.
This is getting old.
I nearly jumped out of my skin there. How could Mr. Woodybank set such a wicked trap?
I doubt he set it out to scare anyone.
Is that really the time? I think perhaps we should pay Ginny another visit soon.
Oh,
Her trial is tomorrow. We must establish whether or not you will be defending her. I think we should ask her one more time. She may have changed her mind. Don't you remember, Bruno? You told her she could rip up the representation papers if she didn't want you to be her lawyer.
really? Did I say that?
Yes, you did. The deadline for submitting the paperwork is fast approaching.
In that case, we better hurry back to the prison and talk to Gina again.
Yes, this is where all the items that have been forfeited by their original owners are offered for sale. That's right. They've all got little price labels on them, but there are so many.
I wonder if the small box this ticket was for is still on the shelf somewhere. Box that the Gilded deposited here just over 2 months ago.
Even if it were, finding it promises to be very troublesome indeed. There are so many boxes, it could be any one of them.
Mr. Shrooms said that a pawnbroker's was the safest place to store anything, more secure than a bank's vault. So perhaps this small box of Magilda's contained something of very great value.
Well, if that's the case, he'd probably have kept it locked.
So then we need to find every box with a lock and break them all open.
Hey-ya! That sort of misconduct would get you arrested. I won't let that happen.
This takes me back. It's been some time since the Zado-san last threw me. Well, I doubt I'm going to find anything at the moment. Prison it is then. Ah, Gina, good. You're back.
The police must have finished questioning her then. Oh, how was it, Jeannie? Was it awful? Huh? Oh, don't bother me.
Thank you for the papers you signed before. It meant we were able to investigate at Windy Banks.
Oh, right. Don't you want to know how we got on? We've been ever so busy. What's the point in asking? Won't change what everyone's saying, that I did it. That's not...
Gina, we came to ask you for your final decision.
Huh? What decision?
About tomorrow's trial. Will you let me defend you or not?
I must submit the paperwork now, if you'd like Mr. Naruhodo to represent you. Right, I see.
She's really lost her fight all of a sudden. I don't know what that feels like. The worry is just so hard to bear.
Alright then, blimey, give it a rest with them eyes, Iris. So come on, then, fill us in. Who did it? Who done it?
Unfortunately, we don't know that yet.
You don't say. We don't know yet, Gina. But Mr. Naruhodo and all of us know that you are innocent of this crime.
And while we haven't yet managed to work out who the real culprit is, there are a number of interesting facts that we have managed to establish.
Oh yeah? Like what?
Well, for example, the reason for you being here in the first place. I think I know now why you broke into Windybanks that night. Looks like I'm going to take some evidence that clearly reveals the reason. It's thrusted in Gina's face. I could present it to her calmly, I suppose. Do that now, get out of the way. We found this in Mr. Windybank's storeroom. The manuscript of Iris's latest story.
Oh, right. Well, that's good then.
Curiously, the storeroom at Windybank showed no sign of being ransacked for items of value or the like. With one exception. The box file that housed this manuscript. It was you, wasn't it, Gina, who broke open the box containing this manuscript last night?
Huh?
You were determined to find out whether or not the Hound of the Baskervilles was really there. That's the real reason you broke into the storeroom last night, isn't it? Why don't you tell us what happened, please?
Alright, yeah. This Baskerville story is the latest Sholmes adventure, right? But it ain't been printed yet. So I figured it's gotta be worth a fair few pieces of silver, right? Oh yes, at least £5,000. What?
So you intended to sell Iris's manuscript, did you?
No, Ginny, how could you? What? Wait, no, hang on. Of course I weren't gonna sell it. All I wanted to do was find out if the manuscript, or whatever you call it, really was there or not. That's the only reason I was in the place. For Iris's sake. Isn't that right? Huh?
We knew why you'd done it from the start, Gina. Of course we did.
But I knew you wouldn't do anything mean like that, Ginny. I just knew it. Well,
When I saw the manuscript in the storeroom, it reminded me of what you'd said the night before.
grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Barefaced liars, the lot of them. You just ain't realised it yet. I'm telling you, that manuscript ain't out Windybanks. You'll soon see if you had a look. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Oh, Ginny, that was so sweet of you. Alright. I'll tell you why I did it. Just stop looking at me like that, Iris. It wasn't because of Iris. That's not why I did it. I just wanted to know the truth, that's all. You wanted to know if Mr. Sholmes was being honest, if he'd really deposited the manuscript at Windybanks. It's like I told you the night before. I never had a father. But Iris's lot ain't like mine. She's got her dad, only she can't see him. I reckon that's gotta be harder. That's why she writes her stories. They're about her dad, really. That's what it sounded like to me anyway. Last night when I was listening to what you were saying. Stories about Daddy?
You mean they're not the adventures of a great detective, so much as the adventures of a great detective and his trusty partner?
Well, that's how I see it, yeah. You're so thoughtful and so kind, Ginny. Yes, and we never thought any differently, did we? Look, give it a rest, will ya? I ain't all this chummy nonsense. Yeah, I ain't it. I don't trust no one, right? That's how I work. 'Cause if you don't trust no one can let you down. So leave me alone. Go on, Scarpa.
I didn't notice it till now, but it's unmistakable. Right there on both sleeves of that overcoat. Some very suspicious red stains.
What? Why are you looking at me like that?
I think it might be worth presenting some of our other findings in that area to Gina now. You see this pawnbroker's ticket, Gina? It's the one you took to Windybanks, isn't it? The one for that black overcoat that you're now wearing. That you're wearing now.
What? That... I don't know. They all look the same to me, those tickets.
Surely not. And this one has a very obvious mark on it. That would appear to be blood.
Huh?
Does that ring any bells?
I don't know. It all looks the same to me. Blood.
They all sound the same to me. These answers are suspicious. No stains on the sleeve of your new coat, Gina. They're blood, aren't they? Not that I know whose blood yet.
What? Blood, Mr. Naruto?
You don't appear to have any obvious wounds yourself, though. So, could it be blood that splattered from Mr. Windybank when he was shot last night?
Let's not beat around the bush here. This trusty friend of mine will get results much faster than anything else. Huh? Take it easy, Iris. Don't move, Ginny. I'm going to shoot. Oh. Oh my.
What the? Get the sleeves.
The whole coat is covered in blood.
Of course. That colour of the fabric was masking the stains. That's why we haven't seen them until now.
And the blood has reacted with the chemical to turn into a purple colour, which matches one of the samples we've already collected perfectly. Yes, now let's see. Who had the purple blood? Yes, it was the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, the victim of the murder case 2 months ago.
I knew it.
What? What are you all on about? The victim? What do you mean? It's a rather uncomfortable situation, Mr. Naruhodo, but I think this makes things quite clear. It means the omnibus case is finally solved. The truth about who really murdered the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, is revealed. Oi! Would someone explain what's going on? Stop telling half a story!
You can see now that the victim's blood is all over Mr. McGildy's overcoat.
But in the trial 2 months ago, the defendant said this in his testimony.
Now, I ask yous, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fellow bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about my gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. But if you look at this overcoat now, it's clear. These stains couldn't have arisen from McGildy trying to pull the victim to his feet.
No, if that was what had really happened, the blood wouldn't have splashed all over the front of the coat.
The only explanation for this pattern of blood is that it splattered over McGildy's coat when he stabbed the victim in the stomach. Tried to run from the truth for long enough. There's no escaping it now. The true culprit in that case, Mr. Mason's killer, was Magnus McGilded.
Mr. Naruhodo,
That horrible case is solved at last. And I helped the man walk free from that trial. I used all that twisted testimony and all that sham evidence to prove his innocence. How could I have let that happen?
Bruno, do you believe him though? Did you believe him though? Did you believe Mr. McGilded was innocent?
I believed. Or rather, I think I was trying to believe. I wanted to. Because believing in those you represent in court is a defense lawyer's greatest weapon.
A weapon?
Before we came to Great Britain, a great friend of mine taught me a valuable lesson.
You mean Kazuma-sama?
Listen, Ryunosuke. We lawyers are only human. We can't know for sure what is the truth and what is a lie. Which is why we must resort to our primary weapon. An unwavering belief in our clients. That's all we really have. Unwavering belief? Only when we truly believe what our clients tell us, and we fight with everything we have for their cause. In any battle, there can be no victory without faith. So I believe you, unwaveringly. What's funny, Gina?
Cool. Sounds like in this empire of Japan you come from, everyone must be soft. Oh, come on. Look at the mess it's got you into, believing in that bog trotter.
Yes, I inadvertently helped a murderer walk free.
Well, at least you learnt your lesson now, eh? Believing in people's never worth it. Someone always stabs you in the back in the end. As soon as you let down your guard, you've had it. Take a leaf out of my book. Believe no one. Get hurt by no one. Gina, may I ask you something?
What?
I'd just like to make absolutely sure. What would you like us to do with these representation papers for tomorrow's trial? How many times do I have to say it? Rip 'em up and chuck 'em away. Are you really sure that's what you want? I bet that's what he wants and all now. Mr. I'm a believer lawyer over there. Don't forget it. It was me in that trial 2 months ago. I led everyone up the garden path, didn't I? And you're telling me you can believe in me after that? Not likely. Well, Mr. Naruhodo?
The lawyer's primary weapon is an unwavering belief in his clients. Ultimately, it comes down to whether or not I feel I can trust Gina after everything that's happened.
Yep.
Gina, let me say it again. Please allow me to represent you in tomorrow's trial.
Are you half-baked?
Not at all. You've not once admitted to committing the crime, have you? What's more, I believe that you're telling me the truth.
Seriously? Mr. Naruhodo? Didn't you hear all what I said before? I'm a born lawyer. Fibs just trip off my tongue. And I'm a diver, don't forget. I pulled the wool over your eyes 2 months ago and got you into all sorts of trouble. Why would you ever trust me now? I just don't get it. Gina? I do understand why you choose not to put your trust in others. But I assure you, there is more to this life than you yet realize. What do you mean? The world we live in is full of people you would do very well to trust. People who won't ever let you down. Huh?
It's true that I'm just a student of law, and I'm certainly lacking in courtroom experience. I can promise you this. Whatever happens, and until my very last breath, I am completely on your side.
What do you expect me to say to that? Then it's decided. I will take these papers now and carry out the necessary preparations for tomorrow's trial. It would be a shame to throw them away now, after it's been penned with your name so beautifully. Do what you like. You lot of... I don't know what you are. I don't get you.
Gina's taking herself off the back of her cell. Gina's taken herself off to the back of her cell. She'd never admit it, but I hope she's feeling relieved. It turned out alright in the end, I think.
Whoever's hiding there, show yourself at once. Eavesdropping is the height of cowardness.
Mrs. Addo?
Somebody is there in the shadows. I can sense it. Somebody who wasn't there before.
What? Blimey, you're sharp, eh?
I suppose you were using one of those mystical Japanese arts, like the art of stealth I've heard so much about.
If anyone was being stealthy, it was you, Inspector.
Greggsy.
Oh, Jimmy, I'm most terribly sorry, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you.
How long have you been listening in on our conversation?
Good grief. Listening in? No. I just got word that there were some visitors who were refusing to leave, and even though it was hour after hours, I assure you, your ladyship, I only just arrived the very minute, not a moment earlier. That's all it is. Nothing untoward, nothing at all.
After hours? Is it that late already?
So then, I'll humbly excuse myself now, your ladyship. Ta-ta, toodaloo, cheerio, all the best. Bye. Bye and bye.
That's a lot of farewells, and not one of them appropriate for our ladyship.
Oh, but I wanted to have a chat.
I'm terribly sorry, but time is pressing at the moment. At the minute.
Oh, I see. That's a shame.
I don't get this emergency at the Supreme Court dealt with sharpish. Lord Strongheart will, well,
Emergency?
not Strongheart. Nothing. Forget I said anything. Anyway, I'm off.
Alright, Trixie, if you have to. But let's chat soon.
Delighted. Charmed. Can't wait. If you please, my pleasure.
That's a lot of pleasantries, and not one of them sounded sincere.
Grexie's so funny. He says such silly things.
It's certainly entertaining to see an inspector of the police fawning to a 10-year-old girl. But anyway, I wonder what this emergency is at the Supreme Court.
I must attend the court's clerk office now before it closes.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Mr. Sado.
Kindly escort Iris home now, Mr. Naruto. I shall meet you there later.
And so our investigation came to an end. Sasado-san went to file the necessary papers for my defense of Gina the following day. And then it hit me. I could no longer suppress the wretched feeling that had been gnawing away at my insides. Tomorrow, Sasado-san would be leaving Britain and making her way back to Japan.
Naruto-san. It's been a very trying day, hasn't it? I do hope you're not too exhausted.
What about you, Sasado-san? Today has been even more trying for you, I'm sure. Mr. Sholmes was shot before our eyes, Gina was arrested. All on the back of the news that her father has fallen ill and that she must return to Japan at once. I hope your father recovers soon.
Thank you for your kind words. I wonder why it is that so many thoughts rage in my head like a storm, and yet I seem unable to find the words to express any of them.
I know exactly what you mean.
Anyway, I have one final task to complete as your judicial assistant. Once that is done, I shall make my preparations for my departure tomorrow.
One final task?
It's just 2 months since we arrived in London, but we managed to establish this office. It was finally feeling as though we were settling in. I would be lying if I said I felt no regret.
I'm so sorry, Sasado-san.
It's just so sudden. I really don't know what to think. I've had no time to gather my thoughts.
I know we've only been here a short time, but in my limited experience of the courtroom, I feel I've learned something.
And what would that be?
It seems to me there are many facets to people's personalities.
Facets?
And like a jewel, the light plays off them in complex patterns, illuminating their actions and their motives. Though we only see a small number of the total facets, What is illuminated is only a part of the whole story. What lies in the shadows? What do those facets we cannot see look like? Perhaps there are some parts we'll never lay eyes on, for as long as we live.
That's so true.
Sometimes I feel as though I'm blinded to so much. But I keep hoping that one day it will all become clear. That's all the facets will be illuminated, and I'll finally understand how everything fits together.
Naruto-san.
I suppose what matters is that we keep our eyes open and keep moving forward, even if the way sometimes seems dark.
It's amazing to think that it's been just 2 months. You've grown so much.
Sorry? What?
Oh no, it was nothing. Unimportant.
Do you know what time you'll leave London in the morning?
Yes, I picked up my ticket earlier. I shall be leaving here at 4 AM.
I see. Well, I'll escort you to the station.
Absolutely not.
Sorry?
I'm sure you realize why I couldn't possibly let you do that. You have a very important day ahead of you tomorrow.
Gina's trial. Yes, I know, but
Every word you utter will have the potential to determine Gina's fate. You must get as much rest as possible. Even though, like me, I'm sure you will find it hard to sleep. But please, for me, do try.
You mentioned one final task a moment ago. What did you mean?
Oh my, I nearly forgot. Please, I want you to have this.
What is that? Some huge bundle of documents?
It's my notes from the case 2 months ago. The murder that was committed on the omnibus.
The gilded case.
It seems to me that this case of Mr. Windybank's murder, of which Gina is accused, is very much tied up with that omnibus case, in ways that are not yet completely apparent. So I took the liberty of consolidating my writings about the case for you.
Everything else she's had to think about. Sasato-san still managed to do this. And all neatly laid out for me in her beautiful handwriting.
It was my pleasure. I can only hope that it will bolster your case tomorrow for Gina.
Thank you so much, Sasato-san. I'll do my best to use it wisely. You really are the best judicial assistant in the world.
Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure.
Sorry? I didn't quite catch what you said there.
Oh, ignore me. I was just mumbling to myself. Well, it's getting rather late. I think you should go to bed now, Naruto-san. I must finish packing up my things in my room.
Sasato-san,
I wish you the very best of luck tomorrow. Good night.
Wait, there's something I need to say.
Yeah.
What was that?
A secret technique of mine. The Susato shutdown.
Shut down?
Please, I implore you. If we have to voice our goodbyes, I won't be able to hold back my tears.
Sasato-san. It truly had been a trying day. On our feet for hours, getting Gina to open up to us, and learning the truth about the nemesis of a case. Physically and mentally, I was exhausted, yet the idea of sleep seemed impossible. I forced myself to close my eyes, and as a cacophony of scenes of our lives here in London played through my mind, eventually my fatigue triumphed, and I fell into a deep sleep. Yes, I quite understand.
That is a great weight off my mind.
Rest assured, I shall put everything in place, exactly as we have discussed.
Thank you so much. It has been an honor and a pleasure to be acquainted with you, Mr. Sholmes.
On the contrary, the pleasure has been mine. I bid you farewell, and Godspeed. My dear madam.
Ah, now we're at the trial. Oh, that went faster than I thought it would. Oh well. Why did I just... I'm an idiot. Anyway, we are saved, we are done, and we are going to stop for now. And I will continue the trial for this tomorrow, but for now I'm going to take an hour for tea and food, and then we shall be back with Xenoblade Chronicles X. For now though, bye!